Okay, here we go. After that interruption, thank you. What will you do? Okay, after shoving a after spraying a steering wheel, so to speak, and I plan it up my nose. I sound slightly clearer, but not. But this is something I remembered. Oh my goodness, what would you do if you're in your own home and you look out and it, you know that really lovely time when it's dusk? Because I said it before, I've got a really lovely flat which faces towards the city. And I remember when I first came to live here, shortly after, I had kind of more sheer curtains and a dirty sheeting I've got up at the window at the moment, or at least up at one window. And I would look out because I would have the doors thrown open. I was sitting here eating my salad and my. I used to love. I remember when I first came to live here, I had this thing about baking short crust pastry, smothering it with tomato puree, getting some camembert, just placing it along it and just browning that off a bit and putting some salad leaves. So it was like a kind of crusty short crust pastry tart stroke pizza. So and I would eat that with salad, and I would just felt so free. I really did from what I'd come from. I'd lived in a bungalow property, which really should have been great. Really, if everybody got on because it was communal gardens and everything like that, it should have been really great. But when you don't, and it's somebody else got another agenda going on, believe you me. So I really felt great here. Only to look out of my double doors that we let out onto the balcony of a night time, and I will see this kind of light. Now, as much as I love aviation, and regardless of what I've said about it and the connection I've had with people over it, this was really disturbing. And I swear on anything, I would sit here, and at times it seemed to move with what I did. This was outside, in the sky. I didn't know about people flying drones. I really didn't know about that. I actually went to buy some furniture and actually saw when I went to buy something that it led to what these little four-legged things were. I never even knew they existed, right? So at times I would notice this thing. It seemed to go with my movements, and as creative as I am, I could take that. There's no problem with telling me I'm out there. That's where I want to be. This light would blow up and then it would reduce. And when I first saw it, I thought, okay, that's just, every skyline has a sky path. I like to get on a plane and go on holiday. I love flying. I thought, no, what is that? But I had seen this thing several times before, and it has been an issue. It's in but it has been an issue throughout this journey. But it's nothing if nobody, when you go out, is mimicking what you do, or when you're in private. Could you imagine that kind of journey? We're going to do this again like a performance, so this is just like a script now. No, but it's just like a script, yeah? So you already know somebody who you have known somebody in your life. Sometimes these odd things, behaviour things happen when you've barely had any interaction with somebody, but they then build it up to having some kind of thing with you which you have no idea about. It's kind of like this ruffian's diary that what is trying to hold on in one part of me, trying to hold on in one part of me, trying to leave. That was very intrusive. I would not have thought it had anything to do with me initially. I tried, but each evening I would see the same kind of thing. This ain't no alien flying nothing. This was I started to realise this was a direct in a kind of intrusion. But another pattern again I would see was I would leave my home a certain way, leave something in my home a certain way. So like you could have a cup that you left beside a handkerchief. It's just left in a certain way, and you imagine you leave home, but you notice you've left it because you haven't done the washing up or you haven't done a thing, and you go out and you get downstairs or you get out your front door, and just literally a few seconds up the road, the same setup is actually there on the road, physically on the road that you left indoors. So say that you get 5 minutes up the road, and what it used to do to when that used to happen. Now it could be somebody I don't it's just something that happened. I swear I'm not making it up, even though I've made this is improv and I'm making it like a script. But can somebody know you that well, or have they quickly run into your house, seen what you've done, or somehow have some visual about you? Or sometimes they can have some kind of gift that they're not using in the best kind of non-invasive way. Let's say that, because nature is what it is. And sometimes people can see through things. If you have inner sight, you can literally close your eyes and see somebody moving around, or get images, or get things. The other day I had that very clearly. So I don't know who sits outside my home and tries to connect to me, because like I said, I've trained in this kind of thing, in the fact that I've gone to a workshop and we did this kind of peering off. Can I hold an object? Can you guess what it is? Can you go to see if that person really wants your energy beside you? Sometimes you get 2 out of 3. And this is something you can practice, learn, and really spruce up on it. So the other day, hadn't looked at any catalogues online, hadn't looked at anything, but I had this really strong impression of this certain textile shaped into a certain style of jacket. Had not seen anybody wearing it that really stuck out to me. No, I didn't see it. Went into the supermarket. This is a continuation of the story. When I missed the bus the early morning when I come from work, went to the supermarket, lo and behold, on the shelf, the jacket is there. I couldn't believe it. So I suppose it's a thing of being open up to different things, but then there's that intrusive part, and that's what's been the problem. If you're permissive, if you're going into a group in a workshop and you're a team, all of you've decided to pay up for this thing and you're going to work together and work this out. And I suppose if you're doing any kind of prevention kind of work, whether that be of childcare, any kind of care of humanity out there, to have that kind of level of teamwork and insight will be important, so you can get to help the right people at the right time, especially if you're looking for people who've got into trouble in any kind of dire situations. That kind of knowledge is invaluable. It's what humans about. It's what beyond the five senses is about. That's what you use it for the best happening. But when it starts to become a real nuisance behaviour, when you are innocently going about your work, maybe not be innocent in life, but you have gotten to a good stage in your life and you're not troubling anybody, you're going about your daily work, and somebody decides they're going to abuse your life that way, they're going to be able to show other people how they know everything you're going to do, where you're going to go, how you're going to do it, what you're going to choose, what you're going to be drawn to, and that somehow proves that you're having something to do with them. And they appear to have, or may not have, any inkling of the damage they are doing to you, the intrusion that is for you, and how that would deteriorate your health, your finances, your ability to socialize, and reduce your quality of life in general. When you go to workshops, when this is a professional setup, that is one of the things they ask. I'd like to emphasize that very much. In the years, I must admit, I trained in 2007. Unless it's been opened up into something else, where people don't care and the boundaries have gone down, I shouldn't think so. And that was one of the specifications you always ask, and this is always about permission, and you're never working outside that remit ever. But that was another intrusion. So what's happened is I've been stalked for X amount of years and gone through levels of intrusion, all everything that goes with it, and I actually move away from where the problem is. So since there was a lot of issue about it must be me as the individual, or it must be the landlord, or it must be this, I have now got up and got away from it. All of the triggers that set it off. So why, when I got to another place, was there somebody putting a clipboard underneath my door, along with other things that were going on in that hallway at that time? And why would I come? There'd be that such intrusion that if I didn't have the curtains to close, I mean, there's normal things that happen, but I haven't seen it happen that way. If something is happening and it's just consistent all night, I have looked at, sometimes it just didn't happen, and then sometimes it did happen, and then sometimes it didn't happen. Maybe it's a pattern, there's always reasonable cause. But because there have been other incidents with regard to the same style of pattern in other areas, and again, I mentioned reasonable cause, and part of the listening of this is to portray that place in between, where there are those, this can be made very clear, and I could have really with different intentions around, and able to sit here, actually this happened, without mentioning names, but be very concrete about it. I'm not unsure about it, but I just have to be careful the way I put it across, just because of other elements out there. But yeah, that was just another pattern. That was just very interesting. That interruption brought that up, and I think as I have become more open to this today, and I'm asking, rather than when is it going to be over, asking what more is it. That's me and my slight speech thing there going on. Um, I decided, well, it's very easy to be able to write something and put things out in writing, but now I'm just going to give the real crux of it, the real blubber and clutter behind all of what gets streamlined into books, and let it be heard. I don't actually visually put myself out there just as yet. That's just going to be, I hope that's not a whole diary session, even though I'll just be open to whatever that is. It's just slow reconstruction, and it just goes to show for those people who may think, and I was one of them who thought by the time I get to this point in my life, I would have my life sorted, I'd hoped I'd have been much more successful, and I probably would have been had there not been certain interruptions, but I have to be responsible and take the journey as it is, and I didn't have what it took I did try and create an opportunity within the changes that happened, but still, because this was such an energetic journey whereby I knew I was being matched, I knew I was being shown something, I knew something else was happening, but I could not combat it. So when I would go to concentrate on something, when it would really take me being in a peaceful, quiet place to create, listen before I can make a transaction or action, I had an energy cut. I knew it was an energetic connection to somebody. I was aware that as I was becoming a member and really started to take things like the healing arts really seriously and deciding to go to workshops and things like that, that there was somebody, maybe the whole universe was trying to put me into something different, but when it came down to the real personal in the now, what was happening right there and then, it was definitely connected to an activity carried out by somebody else. So as much as it could be very healing, the thing, it also puts you in a very vulnerable state, going into places where it is strangers around you and you're receiving messages which may relate to your personal life. And if somebody's there, they're not that well, or they have a disorder, they just clinically unable to actually have the respect to not take it any further, not to follow you home, not to think they've got a right to abuse you in any way, and they just think they have a right of entitlement to take the pee out of you because they may have worked with you, and that's not what that industry does. They just can't understand. Should not have crossed those borderlines. Somebody goes home, it's their private life. You don't run down the road looking at them, laughing at them. You may find them funny. I'm not saying you don't have a right to laugh at them. You can take the pee out of anybody you like. But what you don't have to do is cross over it into their private life to where they're a parent, where they have to have sensitive private time with their children or their child or their spouse, and then think you have the right to go and interrupt that and just have no idea or sense to stop. No idea or sense or feeling. Cannot relate to that, cannot connect to it. That person's life is my competition. No. Let live. Live with ease, not with strife. Thank goodness for how far I've come, and for how far this has come, and that I have an opportunity to produce this. I am truly grateful. Today is truly broken open in the sense that broken into another level. With all the repeating and all the self-consciousness, it is now still the 3rd of November 2016, 1540.